The first drops of rain hammered against the glass panes, drumming a rhythm of imminent danger. I hurried along the narrow street between the buildings, their dim lights reflecting in the puddles on the ground. My destination, an abandoned library rumored to be haunted. Now, I'm not usually into ghost stories, but desperation drives a person to do extraordinary things. I needed shelter from the storm, and this dilapidated building seemed like my only option. Just as I reached the door, a gust of cold wind swept through, whistling a haunting tune that sent shivers down my spine. With no other choice, I pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. Immediately, the smell of decay and old books enveloped me. Moonlight streamed through the broken window panes, casting eerie shadows that danced on the decayed wooden shelves. Each creak of the old house seemed to echo my own heartbeat in the oppressive silence. I walked further into the building, my footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust on the floor. In the corner, I spotted a sturdy table and chairs, remnants of a time when this place had been a hub of activity, a sanctuary of knowledge. But now it was a mausoleum of memories. Huddling under the table, I pulled my jacket tighter around me against the biting wind that whistled through the broken window. I pulled out my phone to pass the time, its weak light revealing swirling dust particles in the air. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the room. Startled, I looked up to see a large pane of glass fall from the window above, shattering on the floor. With a deep sigh, I realized I wouldn't find solace here. As the rain intensified, I decided to explore further, hoping to find a spot away from the dripping water. Pushing aside cobwebs, I moved deeper into the library, my eyes adjusting to the gloom. On the far wall, I noticed a section of shelves that hadn't collapsed yet. Pulling out a dusty book, I sat down on a nearby chair and started flipping through the yellowed pages. Time slipped by unnoticed, measured only by the relentless drumming of the rain. Then suddenly a noise from behind the shelves startled me. A crash followed by a low growl sent shivers down my spine. I froze, listening intently. The growl echoed again, closer this time, accompanied by heavy footsteps. Adrenaline surged through me, and I grabbed the nearest book, holding it out in front of me like a shield. The footsteps drew nearer until they stopped right behind the bookshelf. Then silence descended once more, heavy and oppressive. With trembling hands, I reached for my phone, its light revealing the title of the book in my grasp, The Book of Shadows. As I turned the pages, a folded piece of paper slipped out. Unfolding it, I found a symbol drawn in black ink, resembling a stylized eye with a droplet resting on it. It seemed oddly familiar, as if I had seen it before in a dream or a half-remembered vision. Before I could ponder further, the sound of movement behind the bookshelf startled me. I whipped around, phone raised, and gasped. The shelves had shifted, revealing a dark, shapeless shadow emerging from the darkness. Its edges seemed to writhe, forming and reforming without any discernible features. Fear threatened to consume me, yet I forced myself to stay calm. I took a deep breath, trying to rationalize the impossible. Suddenly, a loud clap of thunder shook the building. The shadow flinched, and in that instant, I noticed a faint glow emanating from beneath the shelves. Curiosity overriding fear, I cautiously approached the bookshelf, peering into the darkness. The glow grew brighter as I moved closer, revealing a set of stairs leading down into obscurity. Hesitantly, I began descending, each step echoing in the sudden silence. At the bottom, I found myself in a small, cramped chamber illuminated by a single flickering candle. On the rough stone wall hung a large, ornately carved mirror. Its surface rippled like water disturbed by a stone, obscuring my reflection. My heart raced as I stared into the depths of the mirror, unable to tear my gaze away. Within its depths, I saw not my own face, but a pair of glowing crimson eyes staring back at me. They burned with an eerie light, beckoning me closer. A surge of panic shot through me, and I stumbled backward, knocking over the lone candle. Plunged into darkness, I felt a presence behind me, icy fingers crawling up my spine. Terror gripping my heart, I turned to flee, racing toward the stairs. As I climbed, the sound of my own ragged breathing filled my ears. Bursting out of the bookshelf, I ran blindly through the library, desperate for escape. Through blurry vision, I spotted the front door and stumbled toward it. Throwing it open, I rushed out into the rain, collapsing onto the wet pavement. Gasping for breath, I looked back at the library. In the dimly lit window, I saw the grinning face of a shadowy figure beckoning me to return. Shaking off the image, I scrambled to my feet and ran, not daring to look back. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs screamed for mercy, but the library seemed to be inescapable. No matter how far I fled, its looming presence always shadowed me. Days turned into weeks, each day bringing new torment. Sleep offered no escape, for in my dreams, I was trapped within the library's shadowy depths. One evening, driven by an insatiable curiosity, I found myself standing before the library once again. The familiar dread washed over me, yet I pushed on, compelled by an unseen force. Inside, the musty smell of old books enveloped me, and the sight of the collapsed shelves triggered a memory. I recalled the growl and the dark shadow lurking behind them. A surge of fear threatened to immobilize me, but determination spurred me forward. I moved the shelves, revealing the stairs leading down. This time there was no hesitation. I descended, each step echoing in the stillness. At the bottom, the mirror beckoned, its surface rippling like a disturbed pond. As I approached, the flickering candlelight revealed a scene that made my blood run cold. Standing before the mirror was the same shadowy figure from my dream, its form solidifying, taking shape. Its eyes burned with an eerie red glow, matching the ones I had seen in the mirror. And as our eyes met, I felt a jolt, as if some unseen force were connecting us. The creature spoke, its voice a raspy whisper that seemed to slither through my bones. It told me of an ancient pact, a bond between a human and a creature of the shadows forged in the depths of despair. It offered me power beyond my wildest dreams in exchange for my very essence. Torn between terror and fascination, I struggled to resist its allure. I fought against the darkness that threatened to consume me, clinging to the last vestiges of my humanity. But the creature's whispers were insidious, seeping into my consciousness, tempting me with promises of ultimate power. And in that moment of weakness, the creature lunged, its icy fingers wrapped around my throat, squeezing the life out of me. I clawed at its shadowy form, but its grip tightened, and I felt my humanity slipping away. Then, as if in a dream, I heard a voice calling my name. It was a beacon in the encroaching darkness, pulling me back from the abyss. Summoning every ounce of strength, I focused on the voice, willing it to guide me. With a Herculean effort, I tore myself away from the creature's grasp. Gasping for breath, I stumbled back, my heart pounding against my ribs. The creature snarled, its eyes blazing with fury and betrayal. It hissed, vowing revenge and promising a return. Driven by primal fear, I fled, racing up the stairs and bursting out of the library. Behind me, I heard the creature's enraged roar echoing in my wake. I ran without stopping, the image of its burning eyes seared into my memory. Now I hide in the bustling city, constantly on the move, forever looking over my shoulder. The creature hasn't returned, but its absence is a torment in itself, a reminder of the darkness that lies dormant within me. And in moments of solitude, I hear its voice whispering promises of power in the shadows. Each day I battle the growing darkness within, fearing the day it will consume me entirely. For I know that once the creature fully possesses me, there will be no escape from its clutches. I am trapped in a never-ending game of cat and mouse with my own inner demons, and the stakes couldn't be higher. If I lose, not only will I be lost to the shadows, but the creature will also gain control over me. And who knows what horrors it will unleash upon the world. Subscribe and don't miss the next episode.